Oh yeah, let's read and go on an adventure. Hey friends, welcome to Papa Read This. Today we're going to be reading Dodsworth in New York. Written and illustrated by Tim Egan. Let's get right into it. Chapter 1, Breakfast. Dodsworth wanted adventure. He wanted to fly in a plane. He wanted to sail on a ship. He wanted to see the world. But first, he wanted breakfast. He went to his favorite place, Hodges' Cafe. He loved Hodges' pancakes. Everybody did. They were the best pancakes in the world. Dodsworth walked into the cafe. It was very early, so there was nobody around. Nobody, that is, but Hodges' duck. Hodges' duck was crazy. "Morning," said Dodsworth. The duck just stared at him. "May I please have some pancakes?" asked Dodsworth. The duck turned and jumped onto a stool. The duck started singing, "Fluffy pancakes in the air, pancakes, pancakes everywhere." "Oh no," said Dodsworth. The duck flew behind the counter. He started throwing pancakes at Dodsworth. Dodsworth tried to catch the pancakes. He caught 3 out of 7. Hodges ran out of the kitchen. He grabbed the duck. "Sorry about that, Dodsworth," he said. "You're here bright and early." "Yep," said Dodsworth. "I'm going on an adventure." "Where to?" asked Hodges. "New York, Paris, London, you name it," said Dodsworth. "Sounds exciting," said Hodges. The duck said nothing. Dodsworth finished his breakfast. He bid farewell to Hodges. Hodges wished him well. Dodsworth tipped his hat and pedaled away. Chapter 2, The Train. Dodsworth arrived at the train station. He bought a ticket to New York. From there he would sail across the ocean. He was very excited. The train started chugging along, over hills and under bridges, through fields and forests. It was the start of a grand adventure. 2 hours later, Dodsworth went to open his trunk. As he lifted the lid, the duck jumped out. "Finally," said the duck. "I could hardly breathe." Dodsworth couldn't believe it. "What are you doing here?" he shouted. "Looking for excitement," said the duck. "Where are we going?" he asked. Dodsworth was not happy. "We are not going anywhere," he shouted. "I'm going on an adventure, alone. You are going back on the next train." The duck just looked out the window. "This is fun," he said. Dodsworth went up to the conductor. "Can you please stop the train?" he asked. "Oh, not until New York," said the conductor. Dodsworth was very upset. He marched back to the room. The duck had taken all of Dodsworth's clothes out of the trunk. He was laying on them. "This is the life," he said. Dodsworth was very angry. "Get off my clothes," he shouted. "Look at the mess you made." "Whoa," said the duck. "Calm down there, partner." "I will not calm down," shouted Dodsworth, "and I am not your partner." Chapter 3, New York City. The next morning the train pulled into New York City. Dodsworth bought a ticket for the duck to go home. He turned to give the duck the ticket. He saw the duck getting on the subway. Again, Dodsworth was very mad. "Fine," he shouted. "Good luck to you." He started walking to the boatyard. "Paris, here I come," he grumbled. He walked for a mile, but then he stopped. He knew how worried Hodges must be. He knew he had to find the duck. "All I wanted was a simple little adventure," he said. He walked around New York City all day, across the Brooklyn Bridge, up to Yankee Stadium and down to Wall Street. There was no sign of the duck, but Dodsworth was amazed at the giant buildings. He headed over to Washington Square. There was a lot of ducks, and they all looked the same. A lady was feeding them bread. Only one duck was throwing bread back at the lady. "Aha!" shouted Dodsworth. He chased the duck down to the Hudson River, but the duck got away again. Dodsworth sat and watched the boats for a while. He thought he saw the duck on one of the boats. Why would a duck take a boat? He wondered. The boat was going to the Statue of Liberty. Dodsworth took the next boat. He arrived at the statue and climbed to the top. There was no sign of the duck anywhere. There was, however, a great view of the city. That night, Dodsworth checked into a hotel near Central Park. He kept trying to call Hodges on the phone. Still no answer. At one point, he thought he saw the duck in the park. It was too dark to tell for sure. In the morning, he walked to a diner across from the park. He ordered pancakes. They were not as good as Hodges. Not even close. Dodsworth watched as the park came to life. A band started playing music. Folks started flying a kite. A magician began doing tricks. "I shall now pull a rabbit from my hat," said the magician. He pulled out the duck instead. "Aha!" screamed Dodsworth. The duck took off. Dodsworth tried to catch the duck all day. He chased him up to Park Avenue. Even though he couldn't find the duck, Dodsworth liked how fancy everyone was dressed. Later, he saw the duck go into the Museum of Modern Art. Dodsworth searched and searched, but he couldn't find the duck anywhere in the museum either. That evening, he spotted the duck walking into Radio City Music Hall. A movie was playing, so it was really dark. Since Dodsworth couldn't see the duck, he decided to just enjoy the movie. After a while, somebody started throwing popcorn at the screen. Dodsworth knew who the somebody was. He stood up and saw the duck. "Ah-ha!" he shouted. "Shh!" shouted everybody else. The duck ran out and jumped onto a bus. Dodsworth jumped into a taxicab. "Follow that duck," he said. The taxi followed the duck. The bus went to Coney Island. Dodsworth watched the duck get on the Ferris wheel. He waited until just the right second. "Gotcha," he said as he grabbed the duck. "Hey," said the duck. "How's it going?" Chapter 4, Going Home. Dodsworth brought the duck to the train station. "You should be ashamed," said Dodsworth. "You worried Hodges. You worried me. You could have been lost forever." "Sorry," said the duck. The duck lowered his head. Dodsworth put his hand on the duck. "Oh, it's all right," he said. "Don't be sad." The duck started snoring. He was sound asleep. Dodsworth went to a phone booth. He called Hodges again. "Hello?" said Hodges. He sounded sad. "Hodges," shouted Dodsworth, "I've got the duck. He's with me." Hodges screamed, "That crazy duck! I've been worried sick." "Sorry he ruined your adventure," said Hodges. "Ruined it? He was the adventure," said Dodsworth. They both laughed. "We'll head home on the next train," said Dodsworth. Dodsworth went back to the duck. To his great dismay, the duck was gone again. Dodsworth looked out the window. The duck was getting on a boat. Dodsworth ran and jumped on the boat. The boat started sailing away. "Hurry," said Dodsworth. "Let's swim back to shore." "No can do," said the duck. "I can't swim." "What?" shouted Dodsworth. "You're a duck." "Sorry," said the duck. "Never learned how to swim." The city became farther and farther away. Dodsworth saw that the boat was going to Paris. He went to the phone and called Hodges again. Hey," he said. "Listen, everything is fine. The duck is still with me. But, well, it might be a little longer than we thought." And that wraps up our exciting journey with Dodsworth in New York. I hope you all enjoyed the adventure as much as we did. If you had a blast exploring New York City with us, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on our upcoming reading adventures.